what? Did you inherit the company or what? And then he does this, and I'm like, what? No? Like, I'm like so thrown off. And then at the end, he wraps it up by again. He's like, owner of Hasty Bag. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Oh, man.
So I went into Richard's office and was like,
We're back.
we're back. And let him know there was a new sheriff in town.
Guys. We're back, ladies and gents.
We're breaking records and breaking computers.
Hey, man,
here.
we got weather. We got Starlink
Dude,
issues.
listen.
We don't
Yeah.
know what happened.
Yeah.
Okay, so Shane's been with us for just almost a year.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot of ups and downs on our show.
Yeah, that's good.
But we're not perfect, and we tell everybody we're not perfect. So,
working through it.
so
Hey,
that
not
works.
everybody. Most people are afraid to do these live, right?
So listen, we had Cox. We've had Cox out here for since I've owned the place, and then like we've had so many issues with Cox, like leading up to our races, and
There's Bailey.
Yeah, it's funny. We were just talking about that.
we like nothing works here without internet. Like
Right.
our credit card machines doesn't work, or the streaming doesn't work. So we started looking into Starlink.
Yeah, buddy.
And we just switched over to Starlink. So I don't know if we had an issue with the rain or high winds or what, but I don't know. Anyway, we're back.
We're back.
That happens.
Yeah, we're back.
We just missed a couple of heats.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And if Tanner's still here, I mean,
I'm
we
gonna text
can't.
him like we're back.
We can't even. I can't even go back and say all the nice things that we said about Tanner while
Mean
the feed
things,
was
you mean.
froze.
Yeah, we didn't even know we were not live, and all those good things we
he's
said
lucky.
about
That's
him.
it.
He's
man.
got a good-looking family.
That's
Man, his little daughter,
Yeah.
her big blue eyes.
Yeah.
Thanks, Shaylee.
She's gonna be a.
Big shout out to Shaylee on that one.
She definitely looks like him more than, or her more than him.
I
thank
was
goodness.
like, what?
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank God.
Same with my kids. Same with
Yeah.
my
Oh,
kids.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They took after mama.
Yeah, absolutely. Where were we?
I don't
Oh,
know.
we can just start talking about cooking if we want.
Well, I was gonna
Well,
say,
we can
yeah.
talk about cooking.
Well, we kind of got to the questions I wanted about the whole why are you involved
Yeah.
in racing,
Yeah.
and we got through that, and but yeah, man, let's like. I really want. I told everybody I brought a notebook, so you
Yeah.
guys thought I just wrote notes down. I brought a notebook for cooking, and
Man, I'm an open book when it comes to cooking.
so for me personally, I grew up in Kansas City.
Yeah.
And so barbecue is just like second nature.
Right.
And, or it should be anyway. And I love smoking. I have an Oklahoma Joe's offset. I have, I literally this last week, somebody had a little Masters built electric one for $60 in the neighborhood. I was like, I'm getting it just cause I don't have, I feel like I'm cheating if I don't use stick or charcoal.
Yeah.
But man, it was so easy cooking that the other day.
Sure.
And then me and my cousin actually have a trailer that we,
There you go.
you know, for he uses it for tailgates at Oklahoma State. Go
Yeah.
Pokes, you know.
Go Pokes.
I seen your
That's right.
license plate, and so I get to use it 4th of July and stuff like that, and I just love cooking on it. And so when Shane introduced me to you, and all you hear is Hasty Bake here, right?
Oh,
all
yeah.
my buddies, you know, oh, you don't have a Hasty Bake? No, I don't have a Hasty Bake. But I promise you, I'll at least bake something edible. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Like,
Your
so
cooking's good too.
yeah. So what? You said you were an ambassador for Hasty
Yeah.
Bake earlier in our first session, first take.
Yeah.
So what? How did you become an ambassador with Hasty Bake?
Man, it's crazy because it's actually not. I answered a Facebook ad randomly. Like I saw a post on Facebook that was like, "Hey, we're looking for a brand ambassador to come, you know, do these things, teach classes and go do events." And I replied to that, and they reached out, and that was kind of it. And it's funny because now, so we continue on that ambassador program, and now I've probably got 30-ish ambassadors. Most of them are concentrated here, but we do have a few kind of scattered out. But I was one of the first. That first year, we had 5, and it was kind of the Wild West. Like we didn't know what we were doing, and they didn't know what we were doing. We were all just kind of figuring it out together, and but that was it. Like we showed up, my buddy and I showed up, just like, hey, we're here.
We're here.
What do you want us to do?
Yeah.
And really it was just, we started cooking and started teaching classes. And thankfully, like in those early days, my saving grace is that buddy that we came in together with, at the time was a school teacher. He's a principal now, but he was a school teacher. So we show up to teach. I don't even remember what kind of class it was, but we show up to teach it. And I'm just like the guy that's like, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Like we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We're going to figure it out in front of a bunch of people, but we're going to figure it out. and he shows up and he's like, hey, here's an outline of all this. And this is what you're going to talk about. And then this is what I'm going to talk about. And then this is going to be the bathroom break and everything. And I'm like, oh, this is way better. This is way better, man.
I didn't know it was a team sport.
Yeah, but here we are, and now it's funny because I don't teach as many classes as I did then. But I got to a couple of weeks ago, I taught a brisket class for the first time in a couple of years, and brisket's my favorite class to teach just because it's scary, it's
hard.
expensive, and so it's intimidating, and so
you can screw up a brisket.
that's
easy.
it. And so I try to really make it easy for people to go and feel confident and to go do it. And so it was funny, like every time I go to teach that brisket class, I go back to those like original notes and I'll add in stuff because we didn't know what we were talking. We knew, but we didn't. It's definitely more well-rounded now than it was. But that was really it. How I started.
Answered a Facebook
ad,
So
man.
were you self-taught? Like, did you teach yourself how to cook?
Yeah, really. So I had always had an interest, in cooking and things like that. Like I always liked doing it, and I tell people all the time now, like there's something cool about like I'm not I couldn't draw a stick figure on a wall. Like I can't do it.
No, I'm saying.
But food is art, right? And it's a way to express yourself, and it's a way to have other people enjoy it.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
For me, and so that's kind of one of the things where I get with like pellet guys is like, so there's pellets are super convenient, right? You go out, you turn it on knob, and it does. But you got to give up something.
Yep.
And what you give up is the flavor and the ability to like put that brisket down or whatever and go, man, I made that. Right. And
I think that's why it's hard for me to get a pellet is because you see pellet guys that cook and they'll do like beef tallow and all this other stuff to add flavor, right?
Sure.
And you don't get that. You like stick burners and charcoals, like you get that instantly. You don't need all these other things to make it impressive.
It's funny because in that brisket class, I talk about, I'll talk about injections and things like this and that, but unless I'm doing like a competition brisket, I don't inject.
Yeah.
I don't, because I want that beef flavor to come out. It's even on my steaks. Like I tell people all the time, that cow died for you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, enjoy it how you're supposed to. But, so anyways, so that's kind of how, me and my buddy, we would just kind of, we would always cook stuff and do different things like that. And, finally, like the very first like smoker that I actually cooked on was one of those little bitty electric ones. Like, and we just tried, and I'm sure it was horrible, but at the time we were like, this is the best thing we've ever done. Like, this is a home run.
Oh yeah.
And, so it just kind of started from there and snowballed from there to here we are now where people are showing up, listening to me teach them how to cook different things.
So had you ever cooked on a hasty bake before you started them classes?
Yeah.
You had? Okay.
Yeah.
Was that like a prerequisite or?
I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure it was, but I don't remember, if it was like a hard and fast rule. I mean, it kind of is now.
Right.
Like I'm not going to take somebody that doesn't know our brand and isn't going to, evangelize my brand. But, like I said in the beginning, it was kind of the Wild West. But one of the coolest things about my whole hasty bake story, because we always joke, we'll get calls all the time about people that'll call up and they've got these old hasty bakes. But one of the coolest things was I had been an ambassador for, I don't know, a year or two, something like that. And some cousins of mine had a lake house, and they found like stuffed up under the deck my grandfather's hasty bake from the 50s.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's
And so they pull it out, and somehow like it gets back to my mom that they found this because it was her father. And I said, well, I'd really like to have that.
Right.
Like if you guys aren't going to do anything with it, I'd really like to have that. And so I got it back here, and we refurbished it, but kept all of the original badges and everything on there.
That's cool.
And so I've got my grandfather's hasty bake from the 50s.
That's bad.
Has it changed much?
It's definitely changed,
Okay.
but I've got it in the garage. Like
the
I can cook
concept
on
is
it.
still the
Yeah.
same,
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. That's
And
awesome.
it's just a cool thing because it ties back to, my mom remembers her dad cooking on that
Yeah,
grill.
yeah.
And so that's the cool thing about our grills. Our grills are a premium product. They're not a $200 Walmart grill.
No,
Um,
no.
But the thing is, these grills are going to last forever, and they're going to go down in generations and things like that. And
Well, stainless.
stainless will outlive all of us.
Yeah,
the
they
stainless
they
steel
don't rise.
grills.
They don't. No.
Yeah.
And especially take care of it all. Like
That's
just
it. And so,
Trying to keep it out of the weather.
yeah. So, anyways, I mean, my hasty bakes, I love them, but there is something fun about, you said stick burners, about just sitting around with your buddies and
Dude.
just rolling a stick burner all day. Man, that's a
You
lot
know,
of fun.
it took me a long time to realize. I thought it was cool. Like, oh, I'm rolling smoke. And like every time I'd have my meat, I'm like, man, what's wrong with this meat? And like I tainted my meat with the smoke, you know. And then when I really figured out like clean smoke,
That's
I'm
it.
like,
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's usually one of the first things in any class I talk about it. I'm like, people think it's got to look like a house fire.
I know, right?
To be sure it's
Right.
smoking it. I'm like, that's actually not what you want.
Oh,
Believe
dude,
it or
I've
not.
had the videos.
Oh, yeah.
Got the stack rolling.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Looks like they elected a new pope, and you're
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
hey man.
Yeah.
But anyways,
You know, it took 2 days to elect a pope, and it took 3 days for Shadir Sanders to get drafted.
I did not know
That's
that. I
crazy.
didn't do the math.
That's
but,
crazy.
Yeah, well,
I seen that joke on
there
Facebook.
you go. But so I've done a bunch of competitions, things like that. But really, like, even before I'd come to work here, like what I love is teaching people,
Yeah.
and showing people, because the reality is most people want to make really good food for their friends and family. That's
Yes.
it. Most people don't care much about going out and doing competitions. No. And it's really different, those two things, right? So you can make really good food for your friends and family and not worry about making a competition brisket and going through all that stuff. So that's really what I have enjoyed, and what I do enjoy is just teaching people how to make really good food for their friends and family, and being, they can put that food out there and be like, man, I made that today, and because there's nothing better than when people eat it and they're like, oh my gosh, this is
So good.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I think that's like, I mean, Shane's been to my house when my 4th of July party. I do a big cook, and I'm my own worst critic. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
like everybody's like, oh my God, this is great. I'm like, this shit's dry. Like,
Oh.
this sucks. This part here, I don't know what
That's
happened
it.
there, but everybody else, like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
Oh yeah, that's the same. I'm the same way. I'll put out some ribs that I know I've messed up somewhere. They're overdone or whatever, and people are like, "Those are the most amazing ribs."
Yeah.
Matter of fact, my dad was having a party on Saturday this week, and he wanted me to cook some stuff. And normally I'll cook stuff a day ahead and I'll leave it in our warmer, but we had some other events going and I couldn't do it. So I said, well, the only thing I could do is I could cook it for you and cool it off, and then you'll just have to warm it up in the oven the next day, which I don't, as somebody that, as the artist,
Right.
I don't love
Like
that.
to do. Yeah.
But I wasn't going to tell my dad no, so I did it and sent it on its way, and it was fine, but I was like, man, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be good or whatever. And
Up to
of
your
course-
standards.
Of course, they text me, and some other people that were there text me, and they're like, it was the best ribs I've ever had. And I'm thinking, I know those things were horrible.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're always going to be your worst critic.
So let me ask you this, like,
Yeah.
but when you guys do these, like, so like right now you're running a promotion. If you buy through Father's Day, if you buy a hasty bake, you get a brisket. So
Yeah.
like, up until about 3 years ago, you could just go down the street to Perry's.
Yeah.
You know, so where do you go now in Tulsa for beef? Do you go Tulsa Beef? I mean,
So
I'm sure you have a better outlet than just Costco or Sam's.
No,
you know?
I mean, honestly, the answer is anywhere. And it depends on the event. There are times that I go to Sam's and Costco. In all honesty, if I'm looking for a brisket, the first place I'm going to go is probably Sam's.
Yeah.
I've heard their.
Yeah. I mean, they've usually got several out. And, you know, the worst thing is to go up and there's one, right?
Yeah. That's your only option.
That's it.
Yeah.
So those are great. Tulsa Beef's great. The feedlot out in East Broken Arrow,
that's out by
man.
us.
They've got some great stuff. And then there's a new place south in Bixby, the Fat Calf. They've got some great stuff right out there. I think it's like 111th and Memorial area.
Oh, really?
But
I've been to what's that one at 151st Memorial? The country.
Country Mart.
Country Mart.
Yeah, Doc's Country Mart.
Doc's
That's
Country
another
Mart.
great one.
Yep,
And
yep,
man,
yep.
and I end up at the one in Coweta because that's closer to my house more often than I do that one. But my favorite thing about going in that place is it's like a step back like
It is.
30 years in
yeah.
time.
Yep.
Oh,
And I
man.
love going in there.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I walked
like
into
old-
Warehouse Market, man.
Yes,
You know?
yes.
Dude, speaking of
100%.
that, when I first moved here, I lived in Owasso, but I lived off of Main Street, like what used to be Fishbones, right? Well, me and my wife at the time, not my wife now, but we would go to Turley to go grocery shopping because it was cheaper taxes.
Yeah.
And I'd go to that Warehouse Market. Well, I sold beer for Anheuser-Busch, and so I got to know the meat market guy real good. Man, he'd give me the hookup.
There you
Man,
go.
it was still cheap as hell because it was Warehouse Market, but man, it was good quality stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Now it's Cox Cash Saver or something, but anyway.
But yeah, I'll go just about anywhere. I mean, to find, you know, and like I said, it depends on what I'm hunting. You know, whatever event I'm cooking for next. Like you know, I'll know, okay, go here for chicken or go there. But really
So,
anywhere.
Like when you go do events, like what's your like main things? Like is it brisket more so than pork, or is it?
So it really depends on the
crowd?
event. So it depends on the event and how many people we're trying to feed and kind of what's that timeline look
Yeah,
like.
because I know we do pork here a lot.
Yeah.
Right, because
Yeah.
it's just easy. And
It's easy.
Cheap.
Everybody loves it, and
Yep.
it goes a long
Yeah,
way.
it goes a long way. Yeah.
You know, it's hard to mess up.
Right.
So I used to say you can't mess up a pork butt. I used to tell people all the time you cannot mess up a pork butt. And I was in Fort Worth a couple of years ago, and we had some guys cooking with us for an event, and they were like, "We're going to do the pork butts," and I was like, "Man, that's awesome, thank you." And turns out you can absolutely
you can screw a pork butt.
mess up a pork butt. And I didn't think it was possible, but you absolutely can. But so it really depends on, so one, it's, you know, so example, we cooked last weekend for the Tulsa Police Department. They had a family, day, you know, out at their academy, and it's, you know, hey, what do you guys want? You know, let's start there. And how many people are you trying to feed? And they wanted to do hamburgers and hot dogs, and that's easy.
Yeah.
You know, but there are events that we'll cook a whole bunch of briskets for.
Well, so our banquet, you cooked
Yeah.
brisket, and
Yeah.
it was, oh man, it was so good.
Oh, I forgot we did that this last year.
It was. We did not have one person disappointed. Matter of fact, well, I had to tell my servers like, okay, whoa, like, you gotta like slow down on the servings because it was getting.
I remember you called, like, I
I'm
wasn't
like,
even
how
home
many-
yet, and you
yeah.
called me, and you were like,
How many
where's this?
briskets?
And I was
Yeah.
like, no, I did the math. I did my meat math correct.
Yeah. No, but it was so good.
Yeah.
To me, there's nothing better than brisket.
Oh
No,
no, I
it's-
agree.
it's still
I'm a
my
brisket
favorite.
guy more than I
Yeah.
am pork, but
Yeah.
it's like you said, it's cheaper to do pork, and it goes a long ways. And
That's
Pulled
it.
like
pork, man.
normally
Pulled
when
pork
you do
sandwiches,
when
yeah.
you come out here, we have enough pork left over to do like pork nachos. the
Oh,
next
yeah,
week.
man. For sure.
Yeah, like we'll freeze some.
Well,
or
and that's
whatever,
the other thing
so-
about it. It's so versatile.
Yeah.
Like you can do anything. With
Yeah.
it, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's what makes those pork butts. I mean, they're a home run. I do a ton of like, we've got a chicken thigh sandwich that we'll make. That everybody loves. We use our hasty bake rub and spice on.
Yep.
That's always good. Wes and I, he and I kind of are the two that kind of run out on just about everything. And lately, we always try to do something different because, like, after a while, you're like, oh my gosh, like again,
Same old.
So we've been doing a bunch of like tri-tip sandwiches and slicing tri-tip down, and it's funny because when we went to Lakeside a couple weeks ago or a month ago now, whatever it was. So it's our first time we're the title sponsor, and we pull in and I'm jacked, right? There's Hasty Bake everywhere. Like, I'm like, this has got to go perfect. And of course, I'm stressed about the weather. Mm-hmm. Weather's perfect. I'm like, home run. And so we get there at like 10 o'clock that morning, 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, to start prepping because what we were going to do is we were going to feed all the teams and drivers a full lunch. And then we were going to do we were going to pivot the whole thing over and just serve a whole bunch of like small bite samples just for anybody that showed up. And so we're there, we're starting to get the tri-tips going and get everything going to prep for the teams and drivers because we know they'll come rolling in about 1 or 2. Mm-hmm. And it was like 11 or 11:30. This big old dually truck pulls in. First car in the parking lot, basically. Parks. Rico jumps out. And like he comes like straight over to us, and he's like, I was like, "What's up, Rico?" Talking to him, and he's like, "What are y'all cooking?" And I said, "Tri-tip," and his face like lit up.
That's
California boys.
That's it. That's it.
California boys.
We don't use tri-tip here much.
No, it's starting to make its way in.
Yeah,
but there's still people that don't know about tri-tip, and he was so excited.
I bet he was.
On our trailer that we take everywhere, I've started this. We've got stickers from all different race teams and kind of anything we go do an event. If you got a sticker, throw it up there. But we've got this one row where it's only for Rico, and and there's only one autograph on the door, and it's Rico. That's awesome. We don't let anybody else sign it. It's only Rico can sign it.
That's awesome.
And every year we put a new sticker on there, and so I pointed out, I was like, "Hey, we gotta get a new sticker," and he's like, "I'll be back." Yeah. And he comes back with stickers and all these koozies and everything. I mean, Rico's. I don't have to tell you guys that Rico's.
He's a great dude.
Rico's the best.
Yeah.
But anyway, so like we did a whole bunch of tri-tip sandwiches out there for them, and then pivoted, that's.
Did you not to interrupt you? No. Did you have like some olives or?
Oh yeah, bacon wrapped olives. So, dude, my friends told me about them. They called me like, dude, the bacon wrapped olives. Oh my god.
So that's. That speaks to the versatility of our grills. So we smoke off all these and then sear off. We basically reverse seared all these tri-tips to do these sandwiches, and then we're able to completely pivot. And we were doing shrimp and chicken and the olives. So the olives, one of my pro staff guys or ambassador guys, Bobby. Shout out to Bobby Oliver if he's watching. He was teaching a ribs class for us a couple months ago, and I was like, it's the day of the event, and he lives in like Choctaw down there around Meeker, and he comes up and he's like, I said, well, we got to come up with just like an appetizer to have for like when people get there to the class. That way they're not just sitting there watching us cook and being hungry. Right. And he was like, oh man, let's do some bacon wrapped olives. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah. He goes, we'll go buy some of those, the green olives that are stuffed with jalapenos. We're going to wrap them in bacon. We're going to grill them, and they're going to be awesome. I hate
olives, but it sounds so good.
It does sound good.
He's like, they're going to be awesome. And I was like, it's weird, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to trust you. So there's a few people that like I will blindly trust when it comes to food, and he's definitely one of them. And so we make them, and it's a home run.
Oh, dude.
It's a home run. Like, we couldn't make enough of those things.
Yeah.
Because an olive, right, is pretty divisive.
Yeah.
Right? Like people.
You either hate it or love it. Yeah.
That's it.
And I hate it.
That's it.
I like black olives.
Wrap it in bacon.
But
anything's good.
So it's funny, we're at Lakeside and those things are they're going.
Yeah.
They're going. It seems like, because I figured, I don't even remember how many I made, but I'm like, this will be
I
enough.
saw a couple trays.
But Kendra comes up and she was like, what? And she's like, I just gave her a whole like skewer of them, and she was just gone. She was gone with them.
That's funny.
But yeah, so
well, you had my my buddy Jared Coons with you up there.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Jared, that was his
Maiden
first.
voyage, wasn't it?
That was his first
Him
time.
and his brother, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And man, Jared's a good time. I didn't know you knew him. I apologize for that.
Oh,
But,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I saw him today,
Did you?
actually. But man, like those events like that, man, it's
They're good, aren't they?
so much fun, and
Like you said, you're always putting smiles on people's faces, right? So
That's it.
That's the best
Well,
part.
and I'll be honest with you, man. Like going to Kansas City and barbecue land and coming out with
got
that.
a high recommendation.
Because I
too,
remember
right?
when I was younger and Famous Dave's came out there by the Legends. Oh my God! Like there's no way that's gonna work. It's not Kansas City barbecue. Da 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 da. You know, it's still there.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
It's still there.
Right.
You know, I mean, you know, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I get on my high horse about Kansas City barbecue too. But
So are you a true like that's your love is Kansas City barbecue?
I mean, it is because that's what I grew up
Sure.
on. I'm not opposed to other types. Like I'm not huge on sweet.
So I'm not either, and that's what's really cool about like where we're at right here is you get a little bit of Kansas City, you get a little bit of Memphis, you get a little bit of Texas, and occasionally you'll get some Carolina, but it's all kind of like
So
you
what's
can
the
find it.
difference? Like, so if you don't really know,
he could
barbecues
probably
or
speak to it
understand
more than I can.
You got
one of
one
the biggest thing
sweeter
is
than-
sauces, right?
Yeah, so Kansas City's going to be more of a sweeter, you know, kind of profile, just kind of all over. Your Memphis is going to be a little bit more of a savory.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Texas, like they're most of the time, like a true like Texas brisket is like salt and pepper.
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you get out in the Carolinas and they've got like their mustard sauce and things like that. And their like pork is absolutely king out there.
Yeah.
But here, like it's all just kind of
Combined.
you know, it's so it's really, really cool.
So I know like the places I like going to in Kansas City have more spicy sauces. And to me, they're more of a tomato base, less molasses.
Right.
You know, spicier type.
Yeah.
And then, you know, when I came here to Oklahoma, you know, you got Oklahoma Joe's and you have, which is pretty good. And then you have Head Country, you know, which Head Country's a little bit sweeter and, you know, Sweet Baby Ray's and all this other stuff. And so I was like, man, I'm not, you know, which don't get me wrong, good barbecue, you don't need sauce.
Right.
Because, I mean, that's just is what it is, right? But I grew up on Gates Barbecue, which, I mean, it's a different type of barbecue in Kansas City. We always talk about in Kansas City, there's black barbecue and white barbecue. And Gates is black barbecue, and then Wyandotte Barbecue, which is out by the Speedway, that's the white barbecue, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you can tell a difference. I mean, it's and but man, I think it's just what your flavor profile likes. I think here in town for me, I like Leon's, down on 6th and Sheridan, 7th Sheridan. Obviously, I love Burnco. I mean, the ribs out there are phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
But it's hard. Sometimes I get too judgmental. You know, and I shouldn't, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's still good food, right? But it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. I do the same thing with Mexican food. It's not just barbecue.
Oh yeah.
No, yeah.
You know, what I mean,
no,
it's just
no,
it's whatever
absolutely.
you grew up on, right?
Yeah. That's it.
But I like what you said. How cooking is an art because
man.
it is, man.
It is.
It's definitely an
You're
art.
taking something that I don't know, like a brisket, right? Like
Like you made that.
And
You're proud of
it's
it. You may not
expensive.
want to eat it because you've cooked it for, you know, the last however many hours.
30-pack of beer.
I mean, usually it's funny because people,
not
you
much
know,
sleep.
yeah. Well, so the thing has always been never trust a skinny cook, right? Like that's the thing. That's the thing.
You're pretty skinny.
That's it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Here's what I
You're
always
an
tell
exception
people
to the rule here.
is
Yeah.
because like when I cook stuff all day, like the last thing I want to eat is any of that. I smell like it. It's all on me. I'll literally try like one bite to make sure it's okay, and then I'm done. I want a bowl of cereal and a cold beer, and that's it.
That's
That's
how
it.
I
I
am.
get that. I get that
But
totally.
you said Kansas City, so the same guy that turned me on to the olives a few years ago when we started going up to Lakeside turned me on to. So I want to call it a hole in the wall place in Kansas City, but I know that there are more places around it. But I refuse to go to any of those. I only go to the original, and I go to the Peanut every time I'm down there. So if you haven't been, and I can't tell you where, but it's downtown Kansas City. and it's just like a hole in the wall bar, and it's bar menu, but they have the best buffalo wings
Oh, nice.
you've ever had.
Is
They're
it on the
incredible.
Kansas side or the Missouri side?
I think it's on the Missouri side. I'm pretty sure we go into Missouri. Yeah, because it's in downtown, which is Missouri, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's Kansas City. Kansas has a downtown, but you don't want to go there.
Missouri,
Yeah.
You don't want to go there.
Yeah.
But if you ever get the chance, if you haven't been to the Peanut, so it's wings. There's not 18 flavors. There's one flavor. It's buffalo.
You just order them,
and it says on the menu, it's like a 20-minute wait because they're not ready. They're cooking them right then. Like,
wow, that's good.
but
so my first job I ever had was a short order cook at a bar and grill.
Okay,
I was 15 years old.
Yeah.
And we did wings, right?
Yeah.
Well, we didn't have any just sitting there ready. So it was like a 16-minute cook in the fryer, and then you throw them in the bowl, and you know.
Yeah,
and we didn't have different flavors. It was
just
wings.
buffalo. Yeah.
Yeah, you know. So I get that because there'd people be like, "Where my wings at?" I'm like, it's gonna take a minute.
Yeah. They're
It's gonna
incredible.
be
Fresh, brother.
The other thing is you order, so you're like, I'm hungry. I'm gonna order 12 wings or whatever. And they come out and it's the whole wing. And you're like, oh. So it's, it's the drummy, it's the flat and everything. You're like, I made a mistake.
It's like ordering some fish and it comes out of whole fish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nah.
Oh yeah.
I'm out.
But it's cooking's a lot of fun, man. We get to do it a bunch.
So outside of your own barbecue, outside of your own cooking, where and even just in Tulsa, like what's your obviously Burnco? I mean, they use hasty bakes.
Yeah,
they do a great job.
There's a ton of great like barbecue places around. I mean, Burnco is obviously, and they use for anybody that doesn't know,
hasty baked.
Everything is hasty baked. The only heating source they have in that building is our hasty bake. I think they've got like 17 of them in there. So. Thursday through Saturday, when they're boiling water to make mac and cheese, they're doing it on a hasty bake. Like that's what's really, really cool. Max Barbecue up in Sky too.
Have not been there yet.
Is
I don't know
great.
Why. Haven't been there.
Yeah, it's great. Man, out east in Broken Arrow, Smokies.
Oh, dude,
people sleep on Smokies
I love
all
Smokies.
the time.
Yep.
And it's really consistent.
Yep.
All the time.
I agree with you.
You know why I like Smokies?
Why is
Because the
that?
one thing that Kansas City has that not a lot of places in Oklahoma have is shaved ham.
Yeah.
And so Smokies has a shaved ham, and I'm like, and it's phenomenal. you
Yeah.
know? But
Yeah, Smokies is great. I mean, there's a bunch of really, really good barbecue around here. And there's a place, and I cannot remember the name of it. But there's a place up in Spavinaw, Oklahoma, and it's right on Main Street, and it's the only barbecue restaurant in there. And I cannot remember the name of it for the life of me, but it is a really cool,
Good
like
one.
if you find yourself in Spavinaw, Oklahoma, for any reason, it's a cool little
I've been
joint.
told to go to the butcher stand
Oh,
in Wellston.
yeah. If you get down to Wellston, go down there. Levi, man, they do some great stuff down there. And what's even cooler is they've got Uncle Mark's right there, and it is it's a bar, but it's built like a 1970s living room.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
it is like authentic. Like it is awesome. Like it's like stepping
cool.
back in a time machine. We were talking about Warehouse Market.
Yeah.
But
That's awesome.
and at Butcher you get a Twinkie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Gil McLaughlin said the Ranger is perfect for racing.
Man, the Ranger is my absolute favorite grill. So that's what we gave away
Yep.
during Chili Bowl this year. And so I've got a Ranger on my back porch, and then I've got one of our bigger models. And I use that Ranger more than I use anything else most of the time. I mean, you can, it's portable, but you can still smoke on it. You know, you couldn't get a big brisket on there, but you could get a small brisket on there. I smoke
like
pork
a pre-trimmed one from Reese or something.
I smoke pork butts on that thing all the time, ribs all the time.
Last time I was in Hasty Bake, so just so everybody knows, like you mentioned earlier, you guys got like a little showroom, tons of different seasonings.
Oh, yeah.
You guys can buy. But I noticed you guys had a pizza maker.
Yeah. So we started down that path probably about a year ago now. We wanted to make a pizza oven, and so I'm one of the guys that comes in and sits down with my engineering team with like all the ideas, right? And then you either tell me how we can make it work,
you're nuts.
or this is
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah.
Just stand up and leave.
Yeah.
We're not even going to entertain this.
Come back when you have another idea.
Yeah. And so we started down the pizza oven thing, and man, it was really cool. And
it looked awesome.
And so as we were developing it and going through the iterations and the versions and everything, for about 6 months, I mean, we were cooking pizza up there every single day. And we'd cook everything from, we'd make our own dough, or we'd go get like a take and bake kit from Andolini's, or we'd go buy a $3, Red Baron pizza. Like I have had all of the pizzas.
Yeah.
And
Totino's.
and it turns out you can even take like the cheapest pizza and make it taste good if you cook it on a hasty bake. Like just cook it over charcoal and everything. And it's
So I told Kenny, I said, that's the grill I want. I want the grill that I can put the pizza oven on.
There you go.
And so what grill is that?
So that would be it's what we would consider our full size grills. So the legacies and the gourmets is what that would fit on. So it doesn't fit on the Ranger. We people asking all the time, are you going to make a smaller one? And we're like, but then you're only making, little bitty
tiny
pizzas.
pizzas.
So
Bagel bites.
Bagel bites.
yeah, you can get some pizza rolls in there.
Oh,
yeah. But man, the Ranger is. I love that Ranger. I use it all the time.
So we gave one away at the Chili Bowl. Actually, Garth Kasner's the one that won it, and he looked at me and goes,
Has he used it?
Yeah. So he was like, what am I gonna do with this? And I was like, I don't know. And he's like, well, I don't know how to cook. He's like 18, right?
Yeah.
Well, they had a family function a couple weeks ago, and somebody knew how to cook, and they used it, and they was like, man, that thing was badass.
Yeah.
And we appreciate you guys doing that for us.
Oh, yeah, that
especially
was
at the Chili
awesome.
Bowl. So it definitely was a cool thing. And
No doubt.
Justin Pataka said there's more than one peanut. He said he went to the one in Overland Park and said the wings are incredible.
Yeah, that's what I was saying is so my buddy took me to the original one, and then he was like, oh, they've got them like all over, but I refused. Like, I'm like, that's the original one.
yeah.
Like, that's the one I'm going to.
And that's crazy. I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
But I haven't lived in Kansas City. I don't know how long they've been there, but I haven't lived in Kansas City since 2022.
Yeah, I don't know how long they've been there. I would assume at least that kind of the one downtown has been there a while, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Chili Bowl thing was fun, man, and just like so up until this year, when Chili Bowl happens, I take vacation. Like I don't go anywhere, but like it's like my week. My buddy Alan and I, like it's my week,
Right.
and so this year Chili Bowl looked a whole lot different because like I was super stressed about like how's everything going to go, and and what was crazy was that Thursday was we were cooking like just small bites samples because that's the best way to get somebody interested is to have them try food from a hasty bake, and like it was like Chamber of Commerce weather. Like it was perfect.
Awesome.
It was
awesome.
like perfect weather.
Yeah. Everybody was outside eating their food.
Everybody was outside because, like, in my head, I was like, it's going to be, 22 degrees. And, like, how are we going to get food in, inside? And, so that was, like a really.
It worked out great.
Yeah. I mean, it was just perfect. So, but that was the best way to get people to,
Absolutely.
like to be interested in it was like, hey, just try something off of it.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
So two things.
Yeah.
One, your go-to piece of meat you love smoking. I mean, I know you said brisket, but
Yeah.
but if that is brisket, then you can answer that. That's fine. And then what is your go-to? What or are you a dry rub guy or are you? I mean,
Yeah.
you're a dry rub guy.
Yeah. So I don't love like ribs. Like I want dry rub ribs. I don't want a ton of sauce on them. If I want sauce, I can put a little bit on there. So I'm a less is more. Kind of like the whole thing is like less is more. So I don't typically inject, things like that. Like it's just
Let the meat be the meat.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, brisket is definitely up there to smoke. I don't do it a ton, but like it's a fun thing to do to have other people try. But like
Right.
most of the time, I'm not going to do a brisket just at the house or anything
Too
like that.
expensive.
Man, I really like cooking, anything, or at
It
least
don't
giving
matter.
it the old college try. But I will give everybody as much as I don't want to because it's kind of been, it's kind of a dirty secret. But, man, if you're at the grocery store and you see a chuck eye or a chuck eye
It's
roast,
my favorite piece of steak.
man, it is so close to a ribeye.
Really?
And the cost is
Serious?
insane.
okay,
See, I did not know
the
that.
cost difference is insane.
I did not know that.
So I learned about these. So I used to work in the grocery business
Yeah.
when I lived in Texas, and in Texas they call
Chuck-eye.
them Delmonico's in Texas.
Yeah, okay.
And so when I moved here and I worked for Reese's, I was like, "Hey, where's your Delmonico's?" And they're like,
Yeah,
"What
what's
do you mean?"
that?
Well, there was some older meat market guys there that I got to meet that were like higher ups,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, you're talking about the chuck eyes."
Yeah.
And you don't have them every day.
No.
It's where the ribeye and the fillet pretty much meet.
Okay.
And
So
they'll
you
just
get-
throw it out there.
And it's just like $5.
That's it.
Serious?
That's it. And it is a steal.
It has to be
Yes.
the name.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
People will
Everyone's gonna
pass it up.
Absolutely.
Yes, everyone's gonna surpass the chuck eye.
Dude,
Yeah.
I promise you can get 4 chuck eyes for like $12.
And it's a home run.
Serious?
I'm
Yes.
telling you, man.
Oh man, I'm glad I know that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had
Yeah.
no idea.
Yeah.
So I'm a like brisket wise, I'm kind of like Texas, right? Like I'm just salt,
Yeah.
pepper, garlic.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Same.
I'm like,
That's my preference.
do you believe in binders?
Yeah. Yeah. Occasionally I'll get not lazy, but like if I'm doing a whole bunch of them and the meat is sat out, and gotten a little bit
Like,
tacky,
yeah, mhm.
I won't. But yes, yeah, I do. My go-to binder normally is wishbone Italian dressing. That's
So, you talk about all these other people. Oh, you just use mustard.
Sure.
You're not going to taste it and everything. And I'm like, it has to have some. You has to throw flavor in there.
I mean, if I think maybe if you put on a bunch of it, but really all you
Most of the
want
time
is
it gets cooked
just a
out.
thin layer. Just all you're wanting is to create literally a binder.
Tack, yeah.
Yeah.
I had someone. It was passed down to me in a decanter, a binder, and so I use that. It's basically olive oil, but it's got
Yeah.
some other stuff in it. And
Yeah.
man, when I use that, I don't know why, but it just
So the
kind of
guy
felt
on-
like it made it different.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? And maybe it was just me, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was.
I started doing one recently. A friend told me about. I was doing some tri-tips, and they were like, use sriracha as a binder.
Oh, I've heard of this. Yeah.
And I said, so it's hard when you're cooking for a group of people with heat.
Yeah.
Right? Because
You don't
it's
know
all
who
over
likes
the
it.
place.
Yeah.
And so you got to just kind of stay right down the fairway, right, with it. And same thing like when you're cooking beef for a group of people, you just got to kind of stripe it right down. You can't, because I want medium rare.
Right.
But somebody's going to have a fit about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
And so I was like, well, I said, is it hot? And they were like, no, it's just really good flavor. And so I started doing it, and turns out he's right.
good.
Like, yeah. So really, I mean, I've used olive oil, I've used duck fat.
Yeah.
I mean, beef tallow, whatever you can use.
So you
but
don't think it changes the flavor profile?
I don't. No, I've
And that's-
never.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
People say that, but just don't know.
Yeah, like I've used the wishbone Italian dressing forever.
Yeah.
But it's funny, I won't use just Italian dressing. It's got to be wishbone. Like I don't know why, but that's
Yeah.
just my thing.
Yep. I get it.
But yeah, that's mine is Italian dressing.
That's awesome.
Wishbone Italian dressing.
On everything.
Yeah,
Anything you have a binder for.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
yeah,
That's
I don't know. I think that flavor profile, I mean, obviously it comes from your rubs, right?
sure.
But I also think it comes from your charcoal, your wood, whatever it may be, because that's
It's all a part of it, man. So how clean are you burning your fire? That matters.
Oh, it's huge.
And right, what kind of charcoal are you using?
Well, Hasty Bake obviously supplies their own charcoal.
Yeah.
Right,
Which,
right.
if you got a Hasty Bake, you got to have their charcoal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like charcoal is just like anything else. You get what you pay for.
Yep.
And if you're using the bag that's $7.99, it's probably gonna have a
always
bunch
save.
of stuff in it that you don't want.
Yep.
From a taste, and probably a health, thing. Like you probably don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
And the different woods make a difference. Where like in Texas, mesquite is super popular. I don't want mesquite.
Nah.
I like to stay in like that pecan and oak and occasionally like a hickory because those are pretty mild and pretty even and they give you good color and good flavor. But it's not going to be like super bitter or
I say
anything
I
like
screwed
that.
up a brisket one time because I did nothing but mesquite the whole time.
Yeah.
And man, I went to take a bite. Everybody else like, oh, this is great. I'm like,
Yeah.
are
And
you
you'll
guys
have
eating
heartburn
this?
for the
Yeah,
next 4
exactly.
days. Yeah.
nah. And I when I switched to pecan, that was
Yeah.
kind of a game changer
Yeah.
too. I haven't done oak yet.
Yeah. Oak's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, man, I could sit here and pick your brain for hours on this.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Man. So Hasty Bake has something coming up this weekend.
That's right. Yeah. So we have got our Grill Fest this weekend, which is probably our biggest event that we do every year. We're excited about it. We're planning for great weather. I've called ahead and asked for great weather. So Grill Fest is our annual. It's a People's Choice competition. So we've got about, I think, 35 or 40 teams that show up, and the only rule is you have to use a Hasty Bake to compete. You can cook whatever you want, right? Because that lends itself to the versatility of our grills.
Yeah.
But you have to use a Hasty Bake. And so, and then what you do is you come out, you can buy a taster kit, you try everybody's food, you vote for your favorite. We've got music and a whole kids zone with like a touch of truck and some bouncy, inflatables and face painting. And we partnered every year. We partner with Marshalls, and they do a beer just for us.
Oh, nice.
It's called Low and Slow. It's really cool.
Nice.
But we host it every year at TU right there on Tucker Drive, so just west of the football stadium by a little bit. And yeah, you come out from 11:30 to 1:30. You can try everybody
Saturday,
that's
or?
cooked, try all their food. I think it's $15 for a taster kit. You come out, try as much as you want.
Yep.
You vote for your favorite, and it's just really cool, man, to see what people come up with. Because most of the time, when you go up to like a People's Choice competition, it's like, hey, we're giving everybody like a pork butt, and but that gets pretty old real quick. You don't want it. So, you'll have people doing traditional barbecue. You'll have people doing tacos, chicken wings. Last year, the guy that won made some kind of, I didn't get to try it, but some type of like pineapple upside down cake with pulled pork inside it. Like,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, we've had guys do like fried chicken on the grills, like just literally frying it in a frying pan on the Hasty Bake. All kinds of desserts, things like that.
So basically, the Hasty Bake is your heat source.
That's it.
And you do what you got to do.
That's
with
it. Do whatever cook whatever you want, but it's just got to be done on the Hasty Bake. So
This is on Saturday?
yeah, it's
June
on
7th?
Saturday, June 7th, coming up this week. So
awesome.
it's going to be awesome. It's going to be perfect weather.
What
I've
is
said
the
it.
prize? Is there a prize to the winner?
Yeah, so we've got prizes. So we changed it up this year. Let me see if I can remember it. But first place, I believe, is our Hastings model grill, which is the biggest one we make, and it's a monster. And then we go down to, I believe, our Gourmet 259, and then the Legacy 132. All those are our full stainless steel models.
Wow.
For first, second, and third.
So there's a lot online.
Yeah.
Is it like an entry fee? Is it invitational?
Yeah, there's an entry fee, so anybody can sign up. Like I said, the only rule is you got to have a Hasty Bake to come out and compete.
I'm gonna start learning how to Hasty Bake real quick.
Yeah, there's an entry fee. It's not a huge entry fee. I think it's like $50.
Oh,
and then you cook you know,
I got a hasty bake right out here, brother.
there you go. Yeah, I saw
you
it
got
when I
one?
walked in. So yeah, you just cook a whole bunch of small bites, getting people to try, try
Skip
something.
Knoxville, and if
And
we don't
then-
race,
and then yeah, you just try to get people to fall in love with it.
man, that's I've never done any kind of competition. I've just always cooked for family and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Me and my cousin have always toyed with it. Like
It's fun.
I even had I had a
would
logo made
enjoy
up
that.
for us and everything. It was called
Yeah.
Hood Country.
There you go.
And because I grew up in the hood and he's very country.
Yeah.
And so hood country barbecue.
There you go.
Hey, you're
So-
still hood.
But I'm still hood. Yeah. That's
But
true.
it is, man, it's just a lot of fun. Like I said, get people out and you can try, all different kinds of things from the same grill. And you're
Yeah.
like, how did I just have traditional barbecue? And then I had, like a couple of years ago, a guy made like pork ramen on,
wow.
and it's like, what? Like,
Yeah.
you go from one booth to the
awesome.
second and you're like,
Yeah.
so it's,
I remember when I first moved here, my buddy Justin Goodnight, he's like, "Oh man, you gotta get you a hasty bake." I'm like, "Oh yeah." Then I went to his house
yeah.
and I watched him cook on a hasty bake. I'm like, "You can literally do everything on
Yeah.
this thing.
Yeah.
You can smoke, you can do burgers, you can do anything. You just raise and lower your heat." And
Yeah. We do cookies on ours all the time, man.
I'm hungry.
Yeah. Because if you think about it, so you can grill on it, you can smoke on it, but right in the middle, anything you can do in your oven, you can do out there. And guess what? It's going to taste way better being cooked over charcoal.
Now, as I say, so now you guys obviously recommend using your own charcoal, right?
Yeah. I mean,
can you
yes.
use other wood in it?
Yeah. So what I really like, if we kind of cut it down to the lowest common denominator, is what I recommend is just like a natural charcoal.
Yeah.
So I prefer lump, but there are some like natural briquettes out there that are also great. But you just don't want all that other crap in there, right?
Well, if I ever had a hasty bake, I'd
Yeah.
use hasty bake lump charcoal. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just kind of what.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then,
you know.
so what we recommend, I don't want you to put full like splits in there. So we recommend like the fist size chunks.
Okay.
And just throw in, 3 or 4 of them, however many, however big you build your fire. Just
Yeah.
throw in a few in there and let her rip.
Man.
Yeah.
One of these days,
There we go.
I'm gonna come out here and just start cooking on Shane's out here at the racetrack.
Come on.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'll show up.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'll show up and
It's
eat.
just sitting there.
Hell yeah.
People all the time is, what's your favorite barbecue? And I'm like, whatever I didn't make.
Right.
Like, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whichever one I didn't cook.
That's yeah. I don't know. I love cooking.
Oh,
I
same.
could cook. I mean, if I had the time, right, I'd cook something every day.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just don't have time.
Oh, yeah.
Especially
Good
barbecue.
queso would be good on that grill. Huh?
Queso's great on it.
Ooh,
yeah.
Hey, maybe I should just go hook up, just set a old pot on there and
There
make
you
my
go.
queso.
That's it, man. Just
His queso's money.
dump everything in there
Dude.
and then get some of that pulled pork
Yeah. Oh,
right on
see?
top. There you
Man,
go.
Here we go. Throw it on a sandwich too.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
nachos.
Yeah.
I don't know. See, I get to thinking and all this other stuff. Now, I've had some really bad food. I've had my friends tell me that sucked.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
That's-
I used
trial
to,
and error.
especially
Yeah.
like chili, right? Like I really like making chili.
Sure.
And I used to get super creative. And my one buddy Sean Hamilton,
Yeah, you can step
Oh,
over
man.
a little bit too far.
I used to live with him, and I'd make chili, and I'd come up with all this different dumb shit, and he'd take a bite. He's like, "Bro, just throw it away. Just throw it away." He's like, "I'm
You
glad
went
you're
over
so
the
honest with
boundaries.
me."
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
We actually did a chili cook-off one year. It was the first and only Lumber Lounge and Garage chili cook-off.
Okay. So, important question about
Okay.
chili.
Yeah,
Beans or no beans?
beans.
Beans.
I'm the same way.
I like beans.
I'm the same
some
way.
people don't.
Yeah.
Most people that don't like beans in their chili, they eat Wolf Brand chili out of a can.
Yeah. Some people don't like the texture, which I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
It's, yeah.
Like,
I mean,
chili to me has to have beans.
Has to have
yeah,
beans.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
But that's how I was raised.
Don't come at me in the comments.
Oh, hey,
Yeah.
they're going to
I
come at
was
all
raised
of
on
us,
three-way.
right?
I was raised on
So-
four-way.
Yeah,
if you
four-way
would call
chili,
four-way.
yeah.
I was not
with the
until
beans.
till I got married and she started talking about having 3-way for dinner. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking
3-way?
about.
Who's coming
Yeah.
over?
about?
Yeah. Get the vacuum cleaner out. Let's clean up a little bit. But
No, dude, you
I
cannot-
love it,
Oh,
dude. We do
is
it all
so
the time.
good.
We do
Yeah.
three-way chili all the
money.
time.
So my dad, a couple weeks ago, I went to Guthrie with my dad for
love
like a couple
three-way.
days, and there's a place. What was the name of that place? It's right on the corner in Guthrie. Anyway, he said, "Yeah, we went there last night," and he goes, "I had this." He said it was like chili with the spaghetti. I was like, "That's three-way."
Yeah.
He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Man, that shit was good." And I was like, "You've never had that?" And of course, the first time I had it was at Ron's
Yeah.
in
Ron's has
Skytook.
good ones.
You know,
Ron
and so
has good three-way.
yeah, I never thought that chili on pasta, because I'm married to an Italian, so I have to say
Yeah.
pasta. I can't
Oh,
say
yeah.
noodles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Would just be that good.
You know what? Amazing. The sandwich shop right up here has great three-way.
Really?
Yes. Yep.
There you go.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I love three-way.
Yeah,
But that's what I was
same.
raised on.
Yeah.
But I have to have beans.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever done anything?
Couple
like a
different
chili
types of
cook-off
beans,
type deal,
actually.
or-
Do
I mean,
I?
not really.
A couple different types of beans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kidney and
Pinto.
and
Yeah.
pinto and black beans and
Yeah.
I like a good white
typically
chili, too.
two different types of meats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've done a couple. So I've got like kind of two chili recipes. I've got one that is like hey, it's a weeknight, like let's make something quick. And then I've got like a from scratch, like
Takes all day.
like
right?
it's
yeah.
like
Yeah.
we're gonna be
This
here
is
for
a
a
Sunday
minute.
project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And both are good. I love you got different kind of meats. So I just as a blanket statement, I love elk. Like
Never had
elk,
it, but-
elk meat is my absolute favorite. So I love doing like elk and like
So good
ground
for you,
elk
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like if you give me an elk steak, man, I'm set. It's my favorite. But like I'll do ground. Matter of fact, the other day I was going through and in my freezer I was like, "What's that?" And I found one pound left of ground, and I was like, "I'm gonna do something with that
Nice.
soon." Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, elk's good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
Man, we might have to do another show just talking more about food.
Man, we can. What we need to do is
do
figure
it.
out a time and do it, and then like while it's going on, we'll just cook.
Oh no, absolutely.
Yeah.
That was the conversation after the show was over. I'm like, yeah, we need to get together and do this.
No, we did.
'cause,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I appreciate you so much for coming.
Yeah,
I
man, this has
appreciate,
been fun.
I appreciate your friendship, and I appreciate your support for the
Absolutely.
show and for Lumber Lounge and for bench racing. And Shane, thank you obviously for introducing us and getting it all worked out. And we don't like Kenny Bippus, but we put up with him.
That's right.
I just had to put that disclaimer
He's in bed,
there.
so we don't have to worry
Yeah,
about him.
he's
watching.
definitely definitely in bed. But
Man, we love that you are a fan of what we're fans of in the
Yeah.
dirt track world, and it's people like you and Hasty Bake that make the world go round, that make sure that we still have big races, and that make sure that we still have the things that we want to have with that when it comes to racing, and you with your trailer and everything. If you've never seen this trailer that they have, it is phenomenal. I mean, it's got TVs on it. You can sit there. I mean, it's so cool.
it's got a party deck on it.
Yeah, if you ever have an event and you need Hasty Bake to be there, just go to hastybake.com. I'm sure there's somewhere on there to find you guys or call
Yeah,
them
you
or
can.
something,
Yeah, you
so.
can find ways to reach out to us.
Yeah, or reach out to us and we'll get you in contact
yeah.
with Zach.
Yeah,
or
but-
Bailey, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
if
she's-
Bailey's still on,
Yeah,
but
she's still watching. It shows it right there. So.
but yeah, it's been cool to do, kind of be at the beginning of this this racing ride, right? Like for me especially, like it's cool to see where we've gone in like 3 or 4 years, and so who knows what it'll look like afterwards. But one of the coolest things I wanted to be sure to mention was just how like people are supportive of like, hey, we saw your new sponsor in racing. Like, what can we do to help? After Chili Bowl, Chase Briscoe reached out.
Yeah.
And was just, he didn't want anything. He was just like, hey, thank you for supporting dirt racing.
Right.
If I can ever do anything for you guys, let me know. And like,
What's
that's
all about.
That's cool. And like Chase Briscoe's got a million better things to do than to reach out to somebody that isn't his sponsor.
Right.
But he cared enough to do that, and that's really cool. So.
But I think that's the dirt track world, man.
Yeah.
I mean, when I first started the Lumber Lounge, because it's a clothing line.
Yeah.
And so I would Chad McGee, Talon Turner, they all were like,
Yeah.
hey, man, we want to run your logo. And I'm like, okay, man, I ain't got no money.
Yeah.
No, we don't want money. Like, we just want to support you.
Right.
And that's what's great about
Yeah.
what we do. And to see that it's went
Yeah.
up the chain. But Chase is a dirt track guy at heart.
Right.
Yes, but
a
you know,
dirt-
the racing people are loyal.
Oh,
Right.
yeah,
They're
big time.
loyal to their brands.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
You know, if
There are
if-
people still to this day that won't eat M&Ms
Nope.
because Kyle Busch.
no,
You know.
that's true.
Yeah, I don't like Home Depot.
There you go.
I'm just playing.
There you go.
I go to Lowe's because I like Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But no, we'll
people
have
that are
to
like that.
Yeah, we'll have to do this again. We'll have to maybe do a live cook.
Absolutely.
No,
And,
we definitely
get
need to
some
put that
food
on
going.
the books.
But I'm excited. I know we're going to come out here, next month, I think.
August,
July?
end of
I don't remember. We've got it on the calendar. I do know that, and
Yeah.
and cook out here, and that's always a fun hang.
We'll definitely have to have you on that week,
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
right before that.
Yeah,
So, as we always do, we want to thank everybody that supports the Lumber Lounge and Garage, JST Motorsports, Bench Racing Shows, Kaiser Racing Wheels, Hoagie's Garage, Victory Seats, My Race Pass, Wheeler Metals, T2 Promotions, Perfect Turf, Port City Raceway,
there you go.
Forge Construction, Flying A Motorsports, Hero Haven, Lambert Property Solution, Midwest Suspension Company, and obviously Hasty Baked Charcoal Grills.
Yeah,
Did I say Horizon? Yes, I did. Yeah. Just make sure. And Kiwi Landscape.
And Kiwi, can't forget.
there you go.
Kiwi Landscape and DC Irrigation.
Woody. So we've had some crazy issues with my trucks around here, right? It's like anything, right? Like they're old and they get used and abused. And Packer truck tried to take a shit on me, so I put a
I
little
saw you
post-
were in the market the other day.
Yeah, I put a little post on Facebook because at the end of the day, it's just the easiest way to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
To get
Yeah.
the word out there, and then of course people start, hey, I got a truck, and Woody's like, buddy, if you can get a truck from Kansas City down to here, and thanks to snow, he got a buddy that has a little hot shot service, just dropped her off, and Woody's like, buddy, you can have it.
There you go.
So kudos to him.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Damn key won't work.
Yeah, we'll get that fixed.
We'll get that fixed.
That's minor details.
But again, it goes back to the racing community.
no, it's
Yeah.
dude, it's such a tight knit.
Well,
and
so
if
I met
anyone's in
Woody
a
at the
little bit
Chili
of
Bowl
issue,
too.
Yeah.
And so Woody's been a huge part of the show, and he gives me really good feedback and gives me really bad feedback.
Just
but
really
it-
honest
yeah,
feedback.
and
it's
I
good.
love it. He'll
Yeah.
call me. He'll call me tomorrow morning at 7:00.
And want to know what happened.
Well, Woody's from New Zealand.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
the first thing I hear in the morning is Woody's accent, right?
Yeah.
You had a great show last night, or that sucked, But I appreciate all of that, and I know Shane does too. And it's been a journey, and we appreciate everybody that's come on board to help us. And I mean, obviously JST, which is I kind of feel like we're Tanner's teammates, right?
There you go.
Right. So if it wasn't for them coming on and helping us with all this equipment and making it more professional, and so we're gonna keep digging, and I know just like Hasty Bake's gonna keep digging
That's it,
and
man.
grinding, and we will we'll do it again next week. We're gonna go back to Monday nights.
Yes.
Baseball's over.
Yeah.
So,
Not
well,
for me,
us.
but
For
for
us.
not for me.
Yeah.
For
Summer league's getting ready to start for
Yeah.
my little guy, but it's
We're
not
not-
going to be on Mondays.
Yeah, we're not doing summer. Our coach took off. My son, so we get home last night, and we beat Rosario's team.
There you
And I told him he was on first base, and I was like, "Man, we lapped you." And he was mad. But anyway, we get home, and I was like, "Hey, Luca, that was your last baseball game." He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Do you ever want to play again?" "Nope." I said, "Okay,
All right.
sounds good, buddy." Well, he wanted to quit like the second week, and I told him, I was like, "Dude, you got to finish it.
Yeah,
Like, you
gotta
wanted
finish.
to play, you got to
Right.
finish."
We made a commitment.
And it was sucks. Like he's actually pretty good. He hits the ball. He runs. He's fast. He played catcher. I mean, so
Yeah.
But I don't know.
How old is he?
He's 5.
Yeah.
Yeah,
come
and he
into
might
it.
want to do it again.
Yeah.
But he's not like Lane, where Lane's like eat, breathe, sleep,
Dude,
wake up,
I
glove
love
That's
on.
awesome.
Yeah,
My little guy's crazy.
he's
But-
good. I called Shane last night because we were one player short, and I was like, "Where you at?"
Yeah. I need a guy.
And he was like, what do you need? I was like, "Dude, I need you to get here right now. Lane needs to play with us. We're one short. We don't want to, especially not to
I
Rosario,
so wish we
right?"
could have made it.
And he goes, "Dude, we just sat down at McAllister's." I'm like, because we got Javi.
Yeah.
Javi hits it to the fence.
Nice.
Yeah, at 5.
Yeah.
And so I was telling Jake last night, I was like, yeah, we had a couple kids that hit to the fence, and Javi gets up there and he starts swinging. Jake goes, that's
Oh
one.
boy, that's one of those. You can tell. It's even if they miss the ball.
Yeah.
It's just like true technique. You're like, oh man.
Well, this kid goes to the batting cage like 3 days a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, be careful because it's a quick slide from 5-year-old baseball of having fun to being where the world I live in now.
It's sucks you
where
in.
it controls most of your life.
Yeah.
Before,
I've been told.
Before we go, breaking news.
Oh,
Cale Drake won Midget Week tonight.
Nice.
really?
Good for him.
So
Nice.
another Port City grad
Yeah.
Yeah.
wins first night of Midget Week at Circle City. So I'm assuming he drove for Keith Coons.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's awesome.
KKM, yeah.
Yep. So Zach, thank you again, man. We appreciate
Yeah,
it so
thanks
much.
for having me.
We'll do it again. I'd love to get together and just cook and
Yeah.
have a beverage. So
Yeah.
appreciate every one of you out there through the technical difficulties of the computer falling down on us. We'll be back next week here at Bob's Turn 5. We will have another guest, hopefully. If not, it might just be me and Shane. And,
Just call me. I'll be tired, but I'll be back.
bro, dude. You can. Hey, we can. There's nothing saying we can't have 3 people on
There
this
you go.
show. You know what I mean? We had the whole Lambert family here one night.
There you go.
That was
good.
fun. So
That's fun.
appreciate every one of you guys. We'll see you back next week on the JST Motorsports Bench Racing live shows. Enjoy your weekend. Go out to a dirt track. Take somebody new. Get them involved. And eat barbecue.
Come out to Grill Fest.
Grill Fest June
Yes.
7th
That's it.
at Tulsa
TU.
at TU.
Yep.
At TU. So do that, and we will see you guys next week.